I remember the very first time when I had a call, with Graham King, the producer. He spoke to me about it. It was so early on. It was a lot to take in. I'd never acted before. I'd never wanted to act, so I had a lot of. I was in conflict with it because I wasn't sure if I can really do it or not. So then I got with an acting coach, and I really want to learn what is acting, and start there before trying to embody Michael. So I did that for about a year, and then I started to really, study Michael's videos, his lyrics, everything about him. And that's when I started to embody him.
It's interesting. I think the young generation are going to see a side of Michael they've never seen before. They know him from the Bad era on, and we're going back to the roots into Gary, Indiana. And I think the young generation are going to learn a lot about Michael that they didn't know.
A lot of people emulate Michael, but Jafar became Michael on that screen. There's nothing like it. Brought tears to my eyes when I saw it.
What attracted me most was Graham King and Antoine Fuqua because they had such a perspective on the material. And, obviously there have been other films about Michael Jackson, but this one felt different. It felt intimate. It felt also that perhaps it was a part of it just had a more spiritual element to it. And then I did some research on Jafar, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's perfect. And so that's just kind of been the motivation, but also to play a woman whose love and commitment and care for her children is so important to me. I'm a mother myself. My son is actually here over there. He's playing hooky from school. And I understand that love. I know that love so much. It's so heavy, it's so deep, it's relentless. And that's who I think Katherine Jackson is. She's a relentless leader of her children, of her family, her commitment, her tenacity, her strength. Her strength is quiet, but her strength is rooted in kindness and love. And so to play a woman described as such is really an honor and a blessing for me, yes.
Wonderful. It's nice to see people who love Michael or who came out to see the movie. It's special. Good people know good people. And I think Michael was sending out a message of love.
That's right.
And I believe people know that.
The ABC music video, I really love that, and it was so fun recreating it because that's a legendary music video. And I'm really grateful that I got to do this role and meet new people, and I'm especially thankful for Graham King and Antoine for just trusting me with such a big responsibility, especially, trying to step in the shoes of a legend like Michael Jackson. I mean, that's already enough pressure.
There were definitely signature moves that the Jacksons did, especially when they were in the front in the line, and syncing up with that, it was a little tricky to get the timing right, but I think those were the moments that felt the most impactful, or when I felt the most like a Jackson. But apart from that, they would in our dance rehearsals, they would make sure we were spot on with what they were doing. So they would have playback of the actual performances and be watching us step by step to make sure we were nailing it. So the dancing was definitely the hardest part.
Bringing his legacy into the film, man, was, to tell you the truth, it was pretty easy because he's so iconic. He thought everything through. His music, the writing, the way he danced, the two specific songs, for example, Billie Jean. That was, he literally sat down and thought about how to start, how to begin the second part and how to end it. Everything was thoughtful.
That's right.
He put a lot of thought and thinking behind it. So, that's why I feel like a lot of his moments are so iconic and timeless, and it spans generations. So, I think it was easy for us to understand, how to sort of like structure it for the film, because all that Graham King did was, these are the songs that we're going to tell the story with, and he gave us a playground to go play.
That's right.
And having Jafar, obviously we needed somebody to anchor the film, and Jafar he was born for this.
Yes, he was. Big time.
So, shout outs to Jafar, his work ethic, his attention to detail. There was a lot of detail and dedication, because it takes a specific person to pull this off, and there's only one person.
And his DNA.
Yeah. The Jackson family DNA is
that's excellence.
Yes.
I collected a large archival of footage I gather from YouTube, many other websites, of all the dancing, and even just off camera. He didn't realize he was on camera, like just him in a conversational setting. And I use that to really immerse myself and dissect everything in that way, and then just allow that to kind of channel through me. But there's very few memories that I have that I cherish truly, and all of them were when I was very young. One of my favorites is when I first saw him on stage performing in New York for the first time, which was the best experience for me.
Oh man, the training, I got to say, before we even started shooting, we were training for about a good year or two. It was really specific. Tone and I really had to put together a plan on how to attack it, because this is the thing about Michael Jackson, right? He has about 4 decades of dance in his body, right? Yeah. And this is something that we had to, and it's 4 different decades, a little bit of the 60s, plenty of the 70s, all of the 80s, and he sort of created also his style within all this, right? And going into the 90s. To be able to break that down into Jafar's body, we had the help of bringing on Sugar Pop, right? Our brother Sugar Pop, and Paul Kirkland, who we did some technique with him, right? Some ballet training here and there, posture, so on and so forth. And then Sugar Pop brought in the 70s disco era, trendy dances.
Dances of the 70s.
And so, so we had to make sure that by the time he got to us, is that he had context. Like when we do dances, it's not too foreign on his body when he picks it up, if that makes sense. Because, he was, I want to say he was born in the 90s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, he missed all that stuff that we grew up on. You know what I mean? Mashed potato, the James Brown, although we weren't around in that era. But, and that was another thing, too, is that James Brown was a big influence on Michael Jackson, right? So we had to make sure we infuse some of the Godfather of soul, into the whole thing. And anyways, long story short, that's what we did. That was our training.
I was on the set the very first day. Somebody asked me a question. I said, let me tell you all something. I said, there's a lot of people out there that imitate my brother Michael. Unbelievable. And fantastic. I said, but the difference between them and Jafar is that they imitate Michael and Jafar became Michael. And that's the difference.
I think you get a peek behind the icon. You get to experience the music. Those concert scenes are incredible. That's why I say it has to be experienced on the biggest screen possible. But in between moments, you get to learn more about the man himself and like his heart and his wants, needs, desires, and things like this.
I think for me, it was just recreating the looks that I remembered as a child and being very specific but careful with the costumes. But not just for Michael, but even the Jackson 5, and then as we transitioned to his older life, it was amazing.
I mean, the first thing you think about when you think of Michael and the Jacksons are the costumes. It's amazing. What a gift for her as a designer to be able to bring that back to life. It's like it was like that for all of us. I mean, I was a little kid doing makeup, when I was a little 7 years old, I wanted to be a makeup artist. And Michael Jackson was like the first person to show us like behind the scenes of Thriller and, and how that was done. And for me, it was like a life-changing moment. So to be able to recreate that, I was a teenager again. It was just a dream come true. And I know for Carla the same,
Especially the Jerry curls, because I had a Jerry curl, and to get that right was very important to me because I've seen them not done correctly. So that was a challenge, and I've gotten a lot of praise for the Jerry curls.
Well, they're gonna be blown away. Wait till they see it. It's gonna blow them away. He did such a wonderful job, Jafar.
Joy and happiness and love and amazing. That's what I want them to feel. Yes.
Go get up and dance, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be nostalgic for some.
That's right.
I think for a younger generation, I think it's going to be more of a wow moment.
That's right.
And how I did not know this guy did all this.
That's right.
And accomplished all that within this span of time. And I just feel like like the rest of the world is going to feel the same thing. And just celebrate what this man did, on another level, man. Just like, from his, not only his iconic performances and his music, but also his philanthropy work too as well.
That's right.
You're about to see it all, and it's all mashed in, weaved into this beautiful film. And we just feel very lucky to share it with everybody.
It feels so genuine, and I'm so glad because this film is for us, meaning the fans. We're Rich and Tone. Yeah, we're choreographers on the movie, but before all of that happened, we were fans growing up to his music too, and we danced his dances. You know what I mean? So, I think this is a love letter to the fans that supported him throughout, and I hope that it does the justice of what we all wanted to do.
I hope they feel uplifted, enlightened, and I hope it gives people hope and inspiration.